La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah.
This is Nambaale Bashir, a convert of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Bashir was an active Sunni Muslim and was the Imam of his family. Growing up, Bashir was also a musician. Now, Bashir is working with the National Financial Office and also with Samiwa Basil, the Department of Audio and Visual. Join Sheikh Nahoho Rashid Maselele as he delves deep into his story of conversion to Islam Ahmadiyyat in today's episode of Journey to Islam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome our dear viewers to MTA Africa. You are watching a program known as Journey to Islam. Now, as you know, some 100 years ago, Allah the Almighty revealed to the promised Messiah that I shall cause your message to reach all the corners of the earth. And since then, the time God has fulfilled this promise, and millions of people have joined the fold of Islam Ahmadiyyat. And that is the aim of this program, that we select a few of those who have converted to Islam Ahmadiyyat to come here and share with us their stories, and we see how this spiritual journey is and what it demands one to sacrifice. Today I am Rashid Nahoho, your host, and with me I have a guest, and that is Nambaale Bashir. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Gentlemen, welcome to this program.
Thank you so much.
Of what I know is that you are a convert.
Exactly.
From the Sunni Islamic sect.
True.
Briefly, tell us about yourself.
By the names which you have introduced already, Nambaale Bashir, born to Musoke Abdul and Bilunji Sarah, one of which was a Sunni, and that is the father, and the second, the mother, was an Ahmadi, surprisingly, but let me say she was dormant, okay? A dormant member, a non-active member, that is what I may say.
She got married to your dad?
She got married to my dad, who was a Sunni, and as you know, it's a law of nature, men, and the Quran cites it very well, Ar-Rijal Qawwamuna ala Nisa. So men take over almost each and everything. So you do not expect a father to be a Christian and the product of a father to be Muslim.
So you were raised up in a Sunni family?
Exactly.
And the whole environment?
Exactly.
What was life like before joining Ahmadiyyat?
Well, I was raised in a Sunni family, like I've told you. That means I went to Sunni schools. I attained both knowledge, religious and otherwise, secular education. By the grace of Allah, I managed to achieve something in the Sunni side of view. And I was the scholar of the family then before joining Jamaat Ahmadiyya. I was the alim of the family. So each and everything, any matter concerning religion, in as far as religion, Islam in particular is concerned, I was the first person to be asked in the entire family. So that was my life briefly. And after some time, you know, there is something that we call a practicing religion or sect and a dormant one. To some point, if I may recall, I got dormant a little bit. Despite my knowledge of Islam, I got dormant a little bit, and I opted for a while to go and do music. So if you ask me my background, I was a musician as well. I was good. I was actually a vocalist. I was good when it came to singing. So, and another thing that I used to do.
Here, you said you were the alim of the family. Meaning that I'm getting a picture that this was a family which was not just Islam by name, but you practiced Islam.
Exactly.
And you had some knowledge about
Exactly.
Islam. What made you to change your mind and say, did you do away with Islam and you said, no, let me go and do the music?
Well, to be honest, as far as Islam is concerned, your witness, the most practicing sect in Islam is Jamaat Ahmadiyya. The reason being, we have a guardian. You're getting my point. Each and everything you do, be it good or bad, you are answerable. Meaning
that the other side, you had the knowledge.
Exactly.
But putting it in practice.
I could put it into practice wherever I wanted. And if I decided to part with it, no one would ask me. Unlike the Jamaat, where we see you, Rashid, Sahib, going astray, our Amir, and the responsible people are going to ask, what is wrong with our brother?
The other side, you had no guardians.
Exactly, that wasn't the case with the other side. You were free to do each and everything. They would just wonder, Bashir has changed, but no one could put a stop on you.
So, wondering in that way, you are an Ahmadi, you are a Muslim, then here is a person who says, now let me do music. It's, you are now wondering, that time, when do you come into contact with the message of Ahmadiyyat?
Okay. I was doing music, but at the same time a traveler, a businessman, and I came to travel to Sudan for a certain period of time. I think it was a year and a half, if I'm not mistaken. When I left, there's a brother of mine, the last born, who left in Uganda, was a bit stubborn, had gone a bit stubborn beyond the limits, and he had dropped out of school. And after some time, he decided to go back to school. He said, I want to go back to school. And to be honest with you, before joining Jamaat Ahmadiyya, sincerely speaking, I did not know anything about Ahmadiyya. That is,
you had not even heard
of Ahmadiyya. That is the fact. Despite the little knowledge that I had of Islam, I had not, and I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that. If I knew, maybe I wouldn't have been a member today. And back to my brother, while in Sudan, he said he wanted to go back to school, and we had to find a suitable school, Islamic school, not far away from home, that we could bring him to. So, fortunately, unknowingly, of all the schools that my mother, a sister to my mom, chose, was Ahmadiyya Muslim High School. Just imagine, Ahmadiyya Muslim High School. I said, no problem, let's take him there. And I also approved the school simply because of the close Muslim school. You understand? So I thought the school would help my brother to attain some Islamic knowledge, just as I have. So we took him there. He studied. On my time back, I came back here. They welcomed me so well, so much. By then, before I left for Sudan, I was still living with my parents. When I came back, I was a grown man, so I had to find a place of my own. So I went to the areas of Waise. Our viewer might not know these areas in Uganda, but I guess you know. So I went there, I found a house, I rented one. Then my brother, after school, had to come home.
So here you were still in that life of a musician and a businessman.
Exactly. Even with music, I used to practice my religion, but not to the expected ranks, you understand? But I was still practicing, to be honest. I never took any drugs, I never took any alcohol, I never did anything foolish in as far as music is concerned. So even with music, I used to live in the context of Islam, though what I was doing, I guess, wasn't right. So my brother had to come and pay me a visit. It is he that introduced Jamaat Ahmadiyya, but in a way of a dialogue. Okay?
Was he your young brother or
the last born?
The last born.
The last born.
Introduced.
Yeah.
How old were you?
By then I was 22. Yeah, by the time I came back from Sudan.
What did he tell you about Ahmadiyya?
He came, told me, big brother, I loved him so much, he loved me too. So we could chat as brothers but still best friends. He told me, big brother, well, in as far as ilm is concerned, you are far much better than me. But did you know that there are some concepts in Islam that you understand otherwise? There are some concepts in Islam that you understand the way they are not supposed to be. He brought examples of Adam. He brought examples of Isa alayhi salam. He brought examples of jinn, concepts of jinn. So all of those, the first with Adam, he told me, according to what we learned while we were young, Adam was the first man to be created. True or false? I said, of course, he was the first man, because that's the knowledge I had before joining Jamaat Ahmadiyya. To my surprise, he started quoting verses of the Holy Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Adam as a representative, as Allah's representative. He asked me a question, Adam representing Allah, to who? To which people? Why would Allah send a representative to animals? Why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send a human being to animals? I mean, why would you call yourself a doctor without patients that you're working upon? So he challenged me in that matter. When we came to Isa alayhi salam, the same views. And as far as he was concerned, I couldn't deny anything of his, because the first question he asked me was, do you believe in the Holy Quran? I said, of course, yes, that's the word of Allah. If I quoted any verse, would you believe it? I said, of course, yeah. But many of them that he quoted, many of the verses that he used to quote, they appeared as if they were new to me, yet I knew them. He went to Isa alayhi salam. He quoted verses concerning the death of Isa. And that, to be honest, did not bother me at all. It's something, it's the concept I accepted that very day, the death of Isa, according to the proof that he provided me with. When it came to the jinn, that is the concept that disturbed me for over a year. It took me a year to understand the concept of jinn. Reason being, I was, should I say, a star? When it comes to jinn, capturing them. So
and had you ever seen one jinn?
No, I had not seen any.
But you believed that
I believe that jinns exist in a way, in the being that many of our Muslim brothers there perceive. So,
but you said you used also to catch them.
And to your surprise, one of my sisters, in the presence of that brother of mine, as I came back to from Sudan, one of my sisters got caught up with the demons or jinns. So they had to call the alim to come and rescue.
And that alim was you.
And the alim was me. So I worked all the tricks that I had learned before to chase those demons out of her. As I was doing my job, my brother was busy laughing. So
the one who had brought you.
Yeah, the one who had introduced Jamaat Ahmadiyya to me, he was there laughing. And I was busy doing my job. I knew, most of the times.
Did your sister get you okay?
Of course, she got fine. But it's later that I came to know there were other diseases that were disturbing her, not jinns as I thought. Actually, her, the sister herself, also used to believe the same. But fortunately.
Now here.
Exactly, okay.
Because I know when we talk about jinn, that is something which is very big. Your brother introduced you to Ahmadiyyat. Did you get the impetus or that zeal that let me search more about Ahmadiyyat?
Well, to be honest, I didn't.
Did you, meaning that you accepted the message?
I didn't accept the first day. I told you the concept of jinn took me almost a year. And he not only did he indulge into conversations or dialogues with me, but invited me on several occasions or functions of Jamaat Ahmadiyya. He introduced me to many of my brothers today, the Hakim Rajab soldier, we know him. Many of my brothers at Jamaat Ahmadiyya had a lot to do when it came to letting me know the real or true concept of jinn. So I was invited on several jalsas. Many of them I came as a visitor. The care they gave me was superb, was massive. And what really made me convert, there's a brother of mine, a Tanzanian, many things were told to me, but I really refused to accept the concept of jinn. And before that, actually, I did not believe in hadith. Reason being, I personally, reason being, I took hadith to be capable of faults. Okay? And I only believed that it's only the Holy Quran, since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself said, Inna nahnu nazalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun. He promised he will protect it. So I said, anything that you wanted to prove to me, in as far as Jamaat Ahmadiyya is concerned, you had to use the Quran. So my brother told me, and I'm going to give this advice to my brothers out there, that whenever you need to know anything about something or someone, you need to ask that very person, not anyone else. Don't ask a man or an 8-year-old child how labor pain goes about. You need to ask a mother who has experience of labor pain. And the other thing that he advised me was, you know, this religion is not ours, first of all. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's religion. And as far as I know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wouldn't wish for you to go astray. So if you want to find out the truth, if you want him to lead you to the right path, go pray 2 rakats, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show you which is which.
So you prayed.
Exactly.
Can we say that you prayed
I
to
did
Allah
that.
and you... So when do you sign the bayat?
I signed the bayat, surprisingly, it was on the day of the bayat, that was 2018, the Jalsa of UK, the day that Huzur Akdas, Yadallah Ta'ala bin Nasir Aziz, was saying out the bayat as the members were replying.
So what inspired, because you said it took long for you to accept despite many arguments. You see, each one of us, there are some things that you might hear a lot of things, but always there is a certain aspect that inspires one to do something or to join the Jamaat. What exactly inspired you to join the Jamaat?
Well, a lot of things, but let me start with this. What is this?
It's a cup.
This is a cup. There are some people that can deny it's not a cup. There are some people, even after seeing it's a cup, they would say, no, it's a jug. I wasn't such a person. With the eloquence of the message that my brother brought to me, it was enough for me to believe that indeed this Jamaat Ahmadiyya is the Jamaat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the Jamaat that Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam promised that it will come. It's the Jamaat of the Masih. When it comes to practicing the religion of Islam, when it comes to practicing the religion of Islam, I witnessed that in Jamaat Ahmadiyya.
So meaning that what you discovered about Ahmadis was that what they preach is what they practice.
Leave alone what they preach, but what Islam, because for your information, they interpret the true Islam.
What is your relationship with your family after converting to Islam, Ahmadiyya?
Well, being the alim of the family, I did not face any opposition from my family.
Some of your members of the family join you, like your parent, your dad and your mom?
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, it was my brother fighting for the family to come back. You know, he wasn't a member as well. But he had to fight the big man first, and that was me. So when he captured me, I was enough to convince the rest of the family. And by Allah's grace, together with the effort of my brother, of course, the entire family now are members of the Jamaat Ahmadiyya, and very, very active members.
MashaAllah. Yeah. What is life like before joining Ahmadiyya and now?
You know, life is simple compared to the way. You know, when you have something like superstitious in your belief, okay, your mind and your soul will never get at rest. And trust me, ever since our family joined the Jamaat Ahmadiyya, there is that peace of mind. It is a total peace, trust me.
So you have got the peace of mind. Exactly. What is your relationship with Allah?
My relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course, the relationship I have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a bond today that I think is unbreakable with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And trust me, I got that through the Khilafat system, through Jamaat Ahmadiyya. It's through the sayings of the promised Messiah alayhi salam that I got to understand who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really is. You know, before joining Jamaat Ahmadiyya, I used to, how should I term it? I used to put certain other beings besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the same level with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unknowingly. You understand? But the bond I have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala today, I assure you it is unbreakable.
What do you think that other people who have not joined the Jamaat don't have that you have?
Well, what they don't have, to me, first and foremost, I joining Jamaat Ahmadiyya wasn't through my wisdom. No. They have not got the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yet. They have not got the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yet, and they need to strive for that.
How can they attract that mercy?
How can they attract that mercy? First of all, like I told you, when you deny the truth, okay, of course, the truth will deny you too as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in one of the hadith, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in one of the hadith, Man ahabba liqa Allahu, ahabba Allahu liqa'ahu. Whoever wants and loves to come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes closer to them. So if you want to understand the truth, if you want to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, try as much as you can to befriend him. When you come to him while walking, he comes to you while running. He will come to your rescue. It is not through my wisdom. I'm not intelligent enough to understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But take the advice and the words of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as true, first and foremost, because he's the one that is going to teach you the real Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is, I'm talking to my brothers there who do not believe in the promised Messiah yet, because he's the Imam of the age right now. But still, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever does not believe in the Imam of the age lives the life of
ignorance.
Ignorance, exactly. So find out the way you're going to join the Imam and find out who the real Imam of the age, who is he. That is when you're going to come closer to the truth, and then truth will embrace you.
Khilafat is our focal point as Ahmadi Muslims. What is your relationship with Khilafat?
If you were poor and you didn't have any money, what would be your relationship with money, having acquired it? What would be your relationship with money? Would you let that money go? Would you let it go? Of course you couldn't. Before joining Jamaat Ahmadiyya, I did not have a guardian. I have a godfather whom I didn't have before. I had a leader who is spiritually going to guide me, who is going to care for me whenever I'm doing wrong. That person is there for me 24/7. That person prays for me 24/7. That person makes sure no matter what, no matter how bad I am, he makes sure he brings me together. I'm going to tell you one incident I have, and how do I keep my relation, and why I keep my relationship, that bond that I have with Huzur Aqdas, so tied. In COVID-19, among the challenges I faced having joined Jamaat Ahmadiyya wasn't from my family, but rather from the family of my wife. I was married, let me say ex-wife. I was married before joining Jamaat Ahmadiyya. Having joined Jamaat Ahmadiyya, my wife was taken away from me, calling me a kafir. And she came from a staunch Salafi family. So they were very serious, and they took their daughter from me, and I had to let go. But before letting go, the two of us, I and the former wife of mine, never wanted to break up. But the parents, the mother, weren't at peace, you understand? And they were ready to do anything to make sure that we break up. So I wrote to Huzur Aqdas. That was in COVID-19. That was 2020, the first lockdown. When I wrote to Huzur Aqdas, I told him, I have a wife, I have a child, we're living together, but we're not at peace since I joined Jamaat Ahmadiyya. The family members from her side, even the father got a husband for her to marry. What do I have to do? So Huzur Akdas gave me the advice. He gave me the chance to make a decision of my own. He told me, go make a decision of your own. But before you make that decision, pray for it. And I had to go through several tahajjud, and I was lucky. It was during Ramadan that I had to pray. I had to wake up every night, pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the bond I told you about. I never prayed tahajjud before joining Jamaat Ahmadiyya. Now that I learned to wake up in the nights, I had to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But that's not the miracle. The miracle was, during that entire COVID-19, Uganda Jamaat, the only letter that came from the first lockdown to around, it was around, if I'm not mistaken, May, June or July, the only letter that came from Markaz was mine. And Huzur wrote it himself, replied it himself. And I kept that letter, I have it with me. I wish never to part with it at any time. The only letter that, and my brother that came to pick those letters was surprised. He went, picked Amisa Ibo's some messages together with that letter, the only letter that came back during that COVID-19. So that is the miracle I received. And I honored that letter, and I prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make me the right choice. And through his wisdom and through dreams, of course, I made the right choice.
What was the right choice?
The right choice was to let go of my former wife. And I left that wife peacefully, without fighting. We talked about it, both of us. Children, I mean, you are an Ahmadi. Of course, I'm not. And I want to let my children be. You understand? So, peacefully, we talked. We came to an agreement. The best of the two of us is to part ways.
Briefly, as we conclude, your last message to the people watching you.
My last message to our viewers out there is, the sun will always be the sun. The day will never come when you look at the sun, you look at its rays, you look at its brightness, and you call it a moon at any time. So whenever the truth comes at your table, please welcome it.
Brother Nambaale Bashir, your story has been so inspiring. That is all we had for you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you.
Rasulullah